晚上好哦，抱歉让大家久等，因为大概可能我刚才有点不舒服这样，然后有点赶，对不起。然后在那个讲者在准备那个 PPT 的同时哦，就是我再介绍一下，就是我们最近会有一些就是马来西亚系列这样子，这是我们的第2场。然后好，有开哦 ，record 那个录音没有开，然后 OK， 谢谢。对，才忘记。好，那个张正老板说是，其实我只是他们的中介啦，帮他们引介进来这样子。然后我们可能有一些人是在台湾念书，有一些人是，我没有领中介费，不要骂我。然后他们有些在台湾念书，有的可能是刚好来台湾发表，像今天我们的那个嘉明，他就是之前在那个政大东南亚研讨会上，然后就有做一个发表，刚好来台湾，然后就有好几天这样子，然后顺便请他来，然后我们做一些小交流这样子。然后我们今天的主题是从葛兰西的从葛兰西的观点来分析马来西亚的现况这样子吼。那可能这边有在做有马来西亚人吗？还是马来西亚人有吗？举手。哦，好，这台湾朋友还蛮多哈。对马来西亚的大概熟悉吗？没有去过吗？没有，好，没有去过也没关系。对，我们会，对，有什么问题可以直接举手，可以随时讲。然后我们今天讲者就他大概听得懂中文，可是我们的 Raymond 会帮我们做口译这样子，对啊，主要还是以英文做演讲。那我要先介绍一下我们莱佛士花读书会这样子。那我们今天主办是跟燦烂时光一起主办，燦烂时光部分等下由就是我们店员来帮我们讲一下。然后像莱佛士花读书会是我们大概搞了一学期多，大概快半年的一个读书会，专门是大概读东南亚或者是马来西亚有关，大概现在还是专注在马来西亚有关的一些正经文教啊之类的一些读本样子。那我们刚好搭上这班列车有办一些活动。那平常我们每个月现在也会有读书会这样子。那我们下个月13号会在一个地方，暂时还没有定，在台大一带念马来人的问题马来人的问题未来是塞乌辛阿里的。那如果你有兴趣也可以来。那为什么叫莱佛士花读书会呢？现在因为时间不是很多，所以我们有时间我们可以慢慢就可以去我们官网看看，然后你可以去那个活动专页那里，然后都会贴上链接。好，那今天如果有朋友没有办法来了，其实我现在都有直播 ，OK， 好，所以就是可以叫他来看直播，然后有什么要提问的，其实后续都可以来提问这样子。好，那我们今天以今天的现场为主，这样子，我们请介绍一下那个燦烂时光。
好，各位晚安。那这边有哪些朋友是第一次来书店？好，有第一次来书店的朋友，就稍微简介一下书店。这里是燦烂时光东南亚主题书店。我们在这个书店里面的所有的书都是跟东南亚有关，里面当然也包含了越南文、泰文、印尼文之类的所谓的外文书籍。那比较特别的是，我们这边的书籍借不卖，尤其是外文书，因为我们这边的书大部分都是捐赠的。去年年初的时候，书店的创办人张正先生在网络上发起一个叫做带一本自己看不懂的书回台湾。对，那因为每年台湾有非常多的人去东南亚，不管是可能是替代役，可能是志工服务，可能是去玩。那可是，在台湾有60万移工，其中有超过一半以上是印尼籍的移工，然后还有10几万的外籍的，也是来自东南亚的新移民、瘟疫移民。那他们在台湾没有自己的母语的书可以看。所以我们就想说，好，那把这个书放在这边，然后我们用直接不卖的方式，但你付押金，然后把这些书传播出去这样子。那除了书以外，我们也办非常非常多的东南亚相关的活动，所以这一次我们就跟莱佛士花读书会合作，然后接下来我们还是会有一系列的马来西亚的活动，所以请大家关注我们的脸书粉丝专页，谢谢。那我们把麦克风交给今天的讲者。
Good evening. First of all, I'm sorry I cannot speak Mandarin because maybe I explain a bit about identity. personally, because Malaysians usually are very confused about our personal identity, and language is one major issue. My name is Kia Meng, and I was born in Ipoh. Ipoh in Yibao. It's one town in Malaysia, yeah, between Penang and Kuala Lumpur. Mainly known for the tin mining industry during the British colonial times. So there were many Cantonese immigrants who settled in that part. But personally, my grandfather's side is from Hainan. Hainan, yeah. And my mother's side is Hakka. Yeah. So that's why when it comes to schooling, my father decided to send me to a Malay national school. So that's why 我不可以讲华语 but I can understand some when people speak. But so first of all, the whole session I have no choice but to use English. But I hope my friend Raymond can help to translate some parts of it. Maybe not sentence for sentence, but the key points, yeah, in order for the flow of the talk to be more smooth. But why I'm in Taiwan? I started my PhD studies in Kyoto University in Japan in 2014, and my area of research is regarding social movement in Malaysia. At the Center for Southeast Asian Studies in Kyoto. It's quite an old school. It was established in the 1950s, so a lot of Southeast Asian scholars are based in Kyoto University. So there was a conference at the Chengchi National University in Taipei a few days ago. So that was my free trip to come to Taiwan, my first time. So I'm very happy to experience Taiwan for the first time. I have to admit, I'm a crazy fan of Yang Dechang, the film director, Edward Yang. So I'm really happy to be to finally be able to see Taiwan with my own eyes rather than through whether it's movies by Ho Xiaoxian or Yang Dechang. So that's the personal side of why I was quite happy about having the chance to come to Taipei. So today the talk actually, even though it's presented as Gramsci, Antonio Gramsci, the Italian philosopher, political philosopher and activist, I will not talk directly about his personal life and his theoretical arguments, but instead I will use a few examples from the Bersih movement in Malaysia to highlight how Gramsci can help us to analyze the specific situation of a certain country at a certain moment in history. So I will pick up some historical moments in the Bersih movement in Kuala Lumpur, mainly in the year 2011 and 2012. You may have questions about how has the Bersih movement developed until the present time, but for the moment of my presentation, I will focus on what happened in the Bersih movement in 2011 and 2012. Should I continue or need some translation at this point? I mean, let's make this informal. It's kind of a joint. I would say let's join our minds together to try to think about the problems in Malaysia using Gramsci. So to facilitate our conversation, you can tell me if I should stop at this moment and have some translation, or should I go on? What's the feeling?
有需要翻译吗？
不要。
OK 吗？
But if I go too fast, please just signal me, and then I will slow down.
如果有需要的话，可以随时停下来，我们可以再进一步的解释。
Yeah, and as I said, let this be an informal conversation. But I will have some material that I want to share with you first. But I want this to be an informal session. So I will begin. Yeah. So the approach I take in analyzing this per se movement, built on Antonio Gramsci, the Italian political philosopher, who I think he was born in 1891, I think, in the 1890s, and he was a communist activist. He had a very short life. I mean, just to go through a little bit of his biodata. He died in prison as a result of being arrested and imprisoned by the Mussolini fascist government of Italy between World War I and II in the 1930s. So it's quite to me it was dramatic because today my Taiwanese host, my colleague in Kyoto, he and another friend, Wes as well, we visited the Human Rights Park in Xinmei. So it really dramatized for me very clearly what political detention is about. So Gramsci basically was a political prisoner, and he wrote a lot of his main works while he was in prison in the 1920s. So why I felt connected with his thoughts is that I guess maybe I should say this important point. Gramsci spent time in prison thinking about why communism failed to have a revolution in Italy, in spite of how promising and hopeful the beginning was. In the 1915 to after World War I, right, 1918 onwards, there was a moment where a lot of European communists believed that communism will actually be the victorious revolution across European countries. But it didn't happen the way that they hoped. So Gramsci's life is a very tragic life. He spent time in prison trying to understand what went wrong. How come such a hopeful moment became such a, I would say, sad and disastrous condition for the communist or workers' movement at that time. In that sense, he proposed that we should study history based on a conjunctural analysis. That's the term there, conjunctural analysis. So what a conjunctural analysis means is that you take specific moments in a historical path or historical development of a movement or a country's political development, and you try to understand what could people, in a sense of whether the civil society or activists, what they could have done to influence the historical development of your country. So in my case, I want to use this conjunctural analysis to look at the Bersih 3 moment, which was in April 28, 2012. And how I intend to look at this conjuncture is by looking at certain Malay activists that emerged or appeared at that time, who became very influential for the Bersih movement in the 2012 period. And yeah, just a background. I mean, I'm sure you have seen images, right? Bersih, their most symbolic color is the yellow color. Bersih is the Malay word in Bahasa for clean, right? So it to clean up the election process in Malaysia, because based on political scientific term, Malaysia is categorized as a electoral authoritarian regime. A very big word, electoral authoritarian regime. It means countries where there is elections, every 5 or 4 years there's elections, but it's heavily manipulated by the ruling party. So that's how political scientists define Malaysia. So yeah, in fact, the other best example of an electoral authoritarian system is Singapore. Okay, so the two most long-living regime or ruling party is Singapore, the PAP, right, Lee Kuan Yew's party, People's Action Party, right, since the independence of Singapore until today, still in power. Same in Malaysia, the ruling party, the United Malays National Organisation, UMNO, which I will tell a bit more later. Yeah, they have been in power since the independence of Malaysia in 1957. Yeah, I will share later what happened during the Bersih 3 event, but there was another episode that is linked to Bersih 3 was that, you remember in 2011 there was the Arab Spring, right, in Tahrir Square in Egypt, right? But before that actually it was Tunisia. I thought it was quite symbolic also. The Tunisia revolution that changed, that democratized the country was because of one fruit and vegetable seller who burned himself. Just like, what's the name of the Taiwan activist who burned himself in the 1980s? Nylon. Yeah. So this self-immolation, actually, yeah, it's quite a powerful, repetitive, symbolic act, which, yeah, Tunisia was also because, at least how people interpret the history of the Tunisian, they call it the Jasmine Revolution, because Muhammad Bouazizi, this ordinary man was being oppressed in terms of his day-to-day conditions. He burned himself for having, because the authorities did not give him a chance to survive as a vegetable and fruit seller. But yeah, the context here is that if you see the tents, it's because 2011, the Egyptian revolution happened. Then there was the Occupy movement in the US, right? So in Malaysia, we had our own version of it, which coincided also with Bersih 3. So that was one of the student occupation of the Independence Square in Kuala Lumpur, just before Bersih 3. I will go in detail what actually happened in a moment.